Hello, we're here today with Shadi Hanna, the Esports coach for Keyano College, and he's going to share information about his esports program. So, Shadi, thanks for coming, and also tell us a bit about your beginnings in video games, then esports, and then how you got to be a head coach.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. I started with gaming and esports when I was 13 years old, playing Dota 2. That was my first game.
Hmm.
I've loved MOBAs ever since. Dota got me into League of Legends, which I played for a number of years. I played for 8 years and started coaching League of Legends when I got to college and university.
Hmm.
That really set the foregrounds for my career in esports. Was playing League of Legends competitively, building a club around it, starting to coach teams. And when COVID hit, I changed my career path from what I was studying into wanting to focus more on esports because I'd fallen in love with it during school. I went to school for 2 years and studied an esports diploma program, very similar to the one that we have here at Keyano now. And that's what helped me get the job, was having all of this experience, playing, coaching, building events, studying esports, and then now finding myself here at Keyano, where I have the opportunity to head coach for just around 30 to 40 students going into next year.
Nice, nice. And tell us about more like about Keyano College. Like, where is it located in Canada? Like, what are other surroundings?
So Keyano College is located in Fort McMurray, Alberta, which is in the northern part of Alberta. It's a smaller college of around 2,500 students, which lends it to having a really nice family feel. You start to know your professors really well. You get to know your classmates very well. Um, it's a very well connected school. In the area around the school, I mean, you'd be surprised for a northern remote area like Fort McMurray. You'd think it might not have too much, but we have everything from movie theaters to escape rooms to upscale restaurants. There's plenty to do as a student and in town as well. And it's been my year living here, started working here last year. I've loved every second of it.
Great. Great. And what is the you mentioned it's a small school. What is the ratio from teachers to students?
Um, the ratio from teacher to students, I'd say, is about oh geez, maybe 1 to 200. We're somewhere in the realm of 2,500 students, and our faculty, I think, is about 30. 2,500 students, and our faculty is somewhere about 30. So I'm not good at the quick math off the top of my head, but I'll let you do the rest.
Okay, it was out of curiosity, no problem.
No
Like,
problem. 2,500 students at
yeah,
Keyano.
that is. And when was the esport program established?
So the esports program started in fall of 2021. The previous head coach is actually now teaching at the college, so they're still involved in the program. And I stepped in to help out, coaching up the teams and building up our teams. We're going into our third year now here in 2023, 2024. And over the 2 years that we've been into operations, we've had some very big wins as a program. In the fall of last year, we had the strongest Rocket League team in Canada. And actually, we're invited to Philadelphia to compete against the reigning world champions, Northwood Blue. We've had top placements in the CCL. In our second year competing in college Call of Duty, we qualified right for the playoffs in CCL, as well as in the National Association of Collegiate Esports Star League, the NACE Star League. So even though we're a very new program and a very young program, we've already had some pretty big wins. And going into next year, I expect us to have even more high-level wins.
Okay, great, great. Also, what are your game titles so those students know?
So we currently support 4 games at Keyano. We do Rocket League, Valorant, Overwatch 2, and Call of Duty. Right now, we're looking to field a starting team for each of those games and start building out an academy as well, particularly for some of our most popular titles like Valorant, being able to have secondary teams and substitutes as well.
That's great. And also, like, could you like outline what the day to day of a student would look like with class and practice schedule and competition?
As a student at Keyano College and involved in the esports program, you'd have a pretty varied day, starting off your day potentially with some classes in the morning.
Mhm.
And then as you get into the later afternoon and the evening is when the majority of your practices and games would begin. Let's say you played a game like Rocket League. Rocket League will have their season matches on Monday, and they'll have their tournament qualifiers on the weekends. And then once as we continue to do well in those qualifiers, we'll have more and more matches pop up during the week. So you could be playing Rocket League with your team anywhere from 20 to 25 hours in the week, usually in the evenings, and you'll focus on your classes and your coursework in the mornings. We do our best to make sure that our students have a good variety in their schedule, as well as set times to focus on their studying and their gameplay. And we do our best to keep our practice schedules consistent so that you know when you're practicing every single week.
Nice. And you also get students to like have experience in LAN events, or it's mainly online, the competition. How do you balance that?
Based off of our team's performances, we've had the ability to send teams to travel to LANs in the past. As I mentioned previously, our Rocket League team had the ability to travel to Philadelphia to compete in the NACE Grand Finals. So a lot of our LAN travel will be based off of performance, but we do like to make appearances at some provincial events as well. For example, the Alberta Esports Expo, which took place for the first time this past February.
Right. And in your esport program, so the students get like pumped up. Like, what do you offer students apart from scholarships? But like, what do you offer like in terms of like the technology in the esport program? Like, also the clothing. If you offer any, like, can you be more specific about that?
In addition to up to full tuition scholarships for our students, we also offer additional benefits, such as being able to practice and play out of our dedicated esports facility on campus, which is opening in full for the first time this fall. In that facility, we have a private practice room where students will have 24/7 access to the space to be able to practice and play on their own time, in addition to a competition stage where you'll play in front of a live audience. So even though, you may not be able to travel to a LAN every week, you'll get to feel like you're playing at a LAN every time you're playing at home in front of an audience inside of our esports arena. All of our student athletes get jerseys as well as team gear and swag, like what I'm wearing right now, my Keyano Huskies sweater. So all students will have access to that. And in addition to that, because we're an athletic program and we treat our esports program with the same dignity as an athletic program treats their athletes, all of our students have access to our campus Huskies personal development trainer, our academic success coaches to help you with your studies, as well as to our mental health and wellness office. If you're ever, starting to struggle with your coursework and the challenges of being a student athlete, you're feeling homesick, anything like that, our health and wellness team is there to support you as well.
Okay. And how do the health and wellness team manage for students to balance their academic and esports? Like example, like if the student isn't performing very well academically, how do you make sure that he does so he can compete in the university leagues? Like, what measures you take? This is more for the parents, basically.
That's fine. In addition to our academic requirements for students, you have to, in order to compete, you have to have a 2.0 GPA. And you have to be enrolled in full-time studies. So you have to be taking a full course load. In addition to those requirements, we also provide students with the opportunity to meet with an academic success coach one-on-one periodically throughout the semester to make sure that you're keeping up with your grades. And obviously, as head coach, I want to make sure that all of my players are in good standing and are able to clear eligibility and continue competing semester after semester. So I'm very invested in how everyone's academics are going and doing, and we'll work together on making sure that you're meeting with an academic success coach, that you're meeting with a mental health and wellness rep if you need that additional support to just keep up to date with your studies and make sure you're continuing to progress, not just athletically in esports, but academically as well.
That's great. A very detailed information. Also, can you tell me like a bit about like, well, it was funded on 2021, but like also what are the internship opportunities your students in the esports program have gotten? This like not after graduation, or like when they're like doing their bachelor's degree.
As a student in our esports program, we have some work study opportunities that are being developed as we speak. The majority of those for right now will take place in the our esports arena and facility. We're looking for students to help staff the arena and take care of the space, run events and tournaments, excuse me, in the space, and really support what it is that we're doing in the facility. But in addition to that, we're also always looking for volunteer students to support our broadcast and commentary teams, so you can learn to develop some skills in the fields of live casting, in broadcast production, and in graphic design as well. So there's plenty of student opportunities, some paid, some unpaid for now. If you are a student in our Esports Administration Diploma program, which is our academic 2-year business esports diploma program, in your second year, in your first semester of your second year, you'll do a 50-hour work placement as well, which you can do with an esports org anywhere in the globe, or even right here with the Keyano Huskies program. So you can actually get course credit for volunteering with our program.
Great, great. And going over to like the recruiting process, like what soft skills do you look in a student when they want to go to your esports program? Like,
when we're recruiting students for our esports program, we're looking for a few things. Skill is obviously an important one. We want to make sure that you're talented at the game that you play. But in addition to your skill, we also want to see, how do you communicate with your teammates? Are you a good teammate? Do you listen to your teammates? Do you communicate effectively? Are you kind when you're speaking to them and able to manage your frustrations in game? And two other qualities that I always look for in players are loyalty and humility. If you can show that you have the commitment to commit to a team, and you are willing to go through the hard times, the good and the bad, and work together, that shows me that you are someone worth investing in for a long period of time. And especially if you're coming from across the globe to come play for Keyano, you want to make sure that you're ready to commit to a 2-year timeline as well. So loyalty is something that I always look for in athletes. And the second quality, humility, is being able to be humble, making sure that, even if you're the best player on the field, you still treat everybody with the same respect, and being able to take criticism and feedback when it's given to you, right? As a college esports player, you're going to be very good at a lot of things, but you also have some room to grow. And when you're enrolling in a program and you're being coached and you have a team manager and you're playing with other teammates who may be better than you at some things and others, you need to be willing to learn and grow with your teammates. So loyalty and humility.
Nice. And now that we covered the soft skills and skills, like also like once a student is in your esports program, like what do you expect him to behave like? Like what standards does your esports program set to students, that represent the university?
We want all of our students to embody the Keyano Huskies athletics qualities. For me, you can summarize that into 3 words. It's your pride in our program and making sure that you treat everyone that you meet with respect, especially when you're representing the program. You are Keyano Husky, and you need to embody those values. You are representing the school, you are representing the team, and you're representing yourself. So treating everybody with the utmost respect and dignity. The second is hunger. We want people to be constantly striving to get better, to succeed, and to improve. If you're only playing during your practice times, or you're only just showing up for your games, you're not giving it 100%. We want people that want to be the very best at what they do, and that means going above and beyond to succeed. The last is our family. We are a very tight-knit community here at Keyano, and especially when the Huskies esports program. All of our esports teams socialize with each other, coordinate with each other, get together for events and activities. And we want you to be friends, not just with your team and not just with the program, but with the entire Huskies athletics department as well. We go and watch the volleyball team when they play their games. We go and support the soccer team when they have their matches as well. We help out at events on campus. We help out at events in community because we recognize that we are part of something greater than ourselves. And when I recruit, I'm looking for people that have that same mindset, that they want to be part of something bigger than just themselves.
That's right. I mean, and in the university, so parents usually ask me does the international department take care of I don't know any problems they may have with visa or anything? Like, is the university on top? Not on top, but do they take care of international students? How's the relationship?
So Keyano College has an international student department as well. We do recruit internationally very regularly. We recruit all over the globe, including India, Brazil, Europe, the United States, and even some places in Africa as well. We've recruited students from all over the globe. So we have a very strong department on campus that is always willing to work with students and assist you in making sure that your arrival to Canada is safe and that you have everything you need to be successful at school. On the Keyano website, there's also a page dedicated to international students that has a checklist of everything you need before you arrive, from your visa to your transcripts to your suitcase. Some people you don't want to overlook anything. So anything that you could possibly need to make sure that you're ready to pack up and move and begin studying at Keyano College. We have plenty of resources available for you, provided by the college.
That's great. And initially, when proposed the esports program, how did the university react, or were they supportive? Were they at first looking for more? Like, how was the initial reaction of the proposal?
I've worked at a number of different colleges and universities, and all of them have responded to or engaged with esports in different ways. I've worked at schools where, esports was pitched from someone on the outside and the school took it in. I've worked at schools where, it was a club and the school was hesitant about engaging with esports effectively. Of all the schools that I've worked with, Keyano is the first where it was not an esport expert or an esport professional or even an esport coach like myself, but the college's athletic administration that saw esports as an opportunity and wanted to dive in headfirst and begin looking for an expert immediately to help guide their program. And that's where the original head coach stepped in 2021, was to help support our athletic director's vision to bring esports to the college. Of all the schools that I've worked with and interacted with, Keyano supports esports more than virtually any other program I've ever spoken to. Like I said, within our first year, we had scholarships. We had already laid out the plans for a facility. We had jerseys, we had gear, we had an entire athletic structure designed around esports. And week after week, as I continue to work at this college and get to know the players and get to know the athletic staff better, it's very clear that Keyano is going into esports headfirst.
Great. And from your personal view, how do you view the collegiate esports ecosystem in Canada evolving in the next 3 years, approx? Like this similarly to the USA or different? Like, do you guys want to differentiate?
Right. So Keyano College in Canada currently is one of the strongest programs in Canada. We've been able to be so successful because we recognize what it takes to be successful in the esports space, and that's providing, the right infrastructure, providing the right benefits, recognizing that esport athletes deserve the same benefits that traditional athletes do. And over time, as our program continues to do these things at a high standard, we expect that the rest of Canada will slowly, again, attempt to catch up, and that will give us even better national competition as well. For the time being, the majority of our competitions take place in American leagues, for example, the NACE Star League, as well as the publisher leagues, which are hosted by Riot Games, Psyonix, Epic, Activision. All of these larger companies, they're all American-based, so naturally the majority of our competition does take place against American schools. But we do feel that over time, as our program continues to set the standard in Canada, other schools will step up to the plate and will be able to facilitate even more local, provincial, and national competition in Canada.
And do you think, for example, in the CRL, there's in the other video games, there's gonna be competitions first in each country, but then universities from North America, South America, Europe will be in the final. In the finals will be a LAN event in X place, and all the universities can meet with each other and stuff. You think that's the future, or you think
I would love to see that. I would love to see the globalization of esports, where every country fields, a top team to go play against another country, and especially at the college level, I think that would be amazing. CRL Worlds, as we know what's happening, it's actually starting today, and you have representation from North America and from Europe, from all over the world. Teams are coming together to play esports together, and we at Keyano feel that that's an amazing opportunity that we would obviously love to support and interact with. As of right now, the farthest we've traveled, as I mentioned, is internationally to the United States to compete in Philadelphia. But I'd love the opportunity to take my players to Europe, take my players to Spain, to England, to France, to compete as well. And these are experiences that we know how valuable they are for our students, and they're opportunities that we're always looking for.
Nice. Do you think it would take more money invested from the publishers, or do you think the universities would have to work? What do you think is the way? This is out of curiosity. Just give me a personal opinion.
Yeah, I think as time goes and as programs continue to grow and develop and publishers recognize the value of collegiate esports, we'll see more and more opportunities pop up. I think it does take a bit of investment from both sides, as publishers need to recognize the value of collegiate and see it is more sustainable than amateur. It provides more opportunities than amateur, and it gives students that fail-safe of having an academic background that they can rely on and pursue to develop into careers down the road. And as publishers become more cognizant and aware of that, universities will begin to realize how many opportunities are actually available for their students and start investing more heavily. As I mentioned before, I've been very, very gracious to work at a school like Keyano that recognizes these benefits already and is at the forefront of the Canadian scene, pushing and supporting their students to compete at the top levels and to seek out those opportunities. But as this scene grows at a global scale, hopefully more and more international events will pop up that we'll be able to participate in and take advantage of.
Great. Shadi, thank you for your time. And is there, to wrap up this, is there, where can students find you, social media, how can they reach you?
If you'd like more information about our esports program, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Keyano Esports is the @ on all three, just at Keyano Esports. We do also have a Discord server, which you can find through our link tree. I believe it's posted on our Twitter and our Instagram. We have a Discord server, a Huskies website, and a merch store as well, if you're interested in getting yourself a Keyano sweater before you arrive at school in the fall. So there's plenty of places you can find out more information about the program. And you can also always send me an email at shadi.hanna@keyano.ca or to our general esports@keyano.ca. If you have any additional questions, you can always reach out by email.
Okay, Shadi, man, thank you for your time, and we'll stay in touch. And for sure, this is going to be valuable information for students. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.